Hey everybody, it's Jack Barksdale. Welcome to another episode of Jack Barksdale's Roots Revival. And today we're here with Matt Sorum. How are you?
Hey, Jack, what's happening, brother?
Uh, Not much.
Last time I saw you was at the NAMM show almost a year ago.
I know, that was
A
fun.
year ago, January.
Yeah.
And and then the first time I met you was in Fort, what'd you call it, Fort Wayne?
Yeah, Fort Worth.
Fort Worth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Dallas, Fort Worth. And we were down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
What was the name of the joint?
Billy Bob's.
Billy Bob's.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was fun. That was an awesome show. Yeah, have you been doing during the quarantine?
Well, we're just all trying to make best you. What I think is going to happen is you told me you were writing songs and
Mm-hmm.
been working on a lot of music,
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot of Zoom calls.
Yeah.
Getting reacquainted with a lot of people I haven't seen in years
Mm-hmm.
on Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
but got this record pretty much buttoned up with Billy Gibbons. You're
That's
gonna dig
awesome.
it. It's not quite as blues as the last record. There's one shuffle on the whole album.
Mm.
Uh, there's no slow blues. There's a ballad. I would call it a ballad.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some kind of surf rock stuff, like almost like
Huh.
Billy got really into Dick Dale.
Huh.
That beat kind of.
Yeah.
He bought
Yeah.
this 1960s reverb tank, Fender reverb tank, and
Oh wow.
he brought it to the studio. He goes, I want to use this on every song. And it's that, that reverby kind of,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he had that, and he had a guitar, an old Gretsch Duo Jet.
Oh wow.
And basically, it was super fun. We lived at this ranch called Escape, which is 140 acres in this area called Pioneer Town. Pioneer Town was where they used to shoot all the old westerns, because where I am in the desert is about 2 hours from LA. So it's got that desert scenery with like cactus.
Yeah.
I saw 2 rattlesnakes the first day I was there. Yeah. And those big lizards.
Yeah.
Gila monsters, or whatever they call
Yeah.
it. So those are all up there. And so we stayed up in the house. We had 2 guest houses and a recording studio.
Mm-hmm.
And we just started writing songs.
Uh-huh.
We ended up with about 15 or 16 songs.
Wow.
And it's looking like we're going to release it next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about it, and I think you'll like it.
Oh yeah.
It's different. It's a different record, It just was fun to make. And
Yeah.
I've always said, if you're working with people that you really like and the vibe is cool,
Mm-hmm.
that you're going to come out with something good,
Yeah. 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 And so you're doing this album with Billy Gibbons, and when I met you, you were playing with Billy Gibbons. How'd you meet him and start, playing with him?
Yeah, well, it's funny because, I've always been a fan. I'm a little bit younger than Billy,
Mm-hmm.
and you're obviously a lot younger than me. But so, and that's why I like you so much, Jack, because you're like a traditional roots kid, bringing it, keeping it real. And I like that about you. And carrying on the tradition, if you will, that's your job, with Jack Barksdale. Like taking the great blues and guitar and moving it into the future. So I met Billy. I've known him 30 years. When I was in Guns N' Roses,
Mm-hmm.
we would just kind of rub elbows. We'd be on a festival show together, and everyone would be backstage or whatever. And as you know, Billy's just the nicest guy in the world. He's not hard to talk to,
Yeah.
So basically, with all that said, we've just kept being friends. He gave me his phone. He gave me his card right away. Did he give you one? Did he give you his phone number?
No, I he may have. I just lose track of things.
Oh.
That's
Gave me a card. he gave me a card. I still have it. It says Billy F. Gibbons, a friend of Eric Clapton, and then his phone number.
That's funny.
And I was like, at first I was such a fan. I was like, I can't call Billy. He's like this icon, you know?
Yeah.
But I had a gig in Africa.
Oh, wow.
And I was going down with Slash. Steven Tyler was on board, Robin Zander. And I said, what's the missing link? I go, let's get Billy Gibbons. So I called him. And we went to Africa. We traveled together. We stopped in London and Paris. And he's just so fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, Matt, let's go. We're going to go check this out.
Yeah.
We're always eating going to cool places to eat.
Yeah.
You know, so through that experience, we became really close. Like I talk to him every day now.
Oh, wow.
You know, at first when he would call me, I go, wow, it's Billy Gibbons. Like, whoa, you know.
Yeah.
Now he calls me. I'm like, do I have 2 hours to talk to Billy? I go. But
yeah.
so, and then I guess when we went on tour with the Big Bad Blues, what you saw, he called me up one day out of the blue. He's like, Matt, I want you to be my drummer on this tour. I like hanging out.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, I've been in Guns N' Roses, Velvet Revolver, The Cult. I played with Motorhead. That tour was the most fun I've ever had in my career.
That's awesome. And you did that tour with Austin Hanks, right?
Yeah, Austin came. Remember we had 2 guitars and no bass?
Oh, yeah.
We were like, we were running the low end, kind of like, they had the what's called the octave divider pickup. I don't know if I shared all that with you, but
yeah, I remember at the merch table they were selling, or they were having a thing where you could buy one.
So the pickup's called a Little Thunder, and I can explain to you real quick how it works. So you know what an octave divider pedal is. You probably have one. Takes the guitar and it drops down. It's like Jack White uses it from the White Stripes thing, you know. So it takes that E string in it. The octave divider pedal will drop the note down 1 octave. So it's like, whoa, 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 underneath the real note with the pedal, right? Well, this guy that invented Little Thunder invented it so it goes in the pickup. Now it's got a stereo feed. So I don't remember if you remember all the amps on stage.
Oh, yeah.
But we would run the bass signal of that pickup would go to the bass amp. And the guitars, the higher note would go to the guitar amp, so you could EQ them. So when if Austin was going dong 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 dong, the low note ball 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 would be like down there. Remember how that sounded?
Yeah.
But it wasn't like ba boom ba boom ba boom boom. It wasn't like bass, you know.
Yeah.
It was more
just
like
gave you that low end.
It was like chunky.
Yeah.
And Billy goes.
Very Billy Gibbons.
Billy calls me. He goes. So I go, who's the bass player? He goes, there isn't one. I go, what?
Yeah.
So we spent about 2 weeks just making it all work. It was like a bit of a science project to get it to sound right. And we rehearsed and figured it all out. By the time we got to see you, we were sounding pretty good, I think.
Yeah, that show was awesome. And yeah.
So out in the front of the house, the sound man, the guy that was running the sound, would like turn the bass up. You know, he could control it.
Yeah.
With an octave divider pedal, you just get one signal. It's like Jack White, you know, that kind of. So anyway, you know, after all that experience, you know, Billy had a really great engineer producer that worked on all the ZZ Top records back to the early 80s. And he passed away about a year and a half ago. His name was Joe Hardy.
Oh, man.
So he was basically like Billy's, you know, counterpart. He was this great musical partner.
Yeah.
So Billy was, not only had he lost a great friend, but he had lost his musical collaborator. So when it came time to do this record, he called me. I'm like, little old me is going to fill that void. So my job was to like walk Billy through a new experience and get him to trust me. Right. So I co-produced the record with Billy. and another guy named Mike Florentino from Nashville. But when you work with somebody as great as Billy, he's such an amazing talent. And the reason he got successful is because he's got the imagination to create great songs.
Yeah.
And he's got the ears to hear it. He hears everything. It's like, what's that? You know? Or he'll say, we got to put maracas on this song. I go, maracas, okay. He hears it all. He'll go.
Yeah.
So my job in the studio was just to make him comfortable and like nurture the process.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of keep the ship moving. And man, we got at the very beginning, it was, you know, it was like getting to learn about each other in the studio. Because we played in a band, but playing in the studio, as you know, is different. So we did a couple of songs. I have a studio in LA, and we did those. And the process was a little bit more laborious, but then once we got comfortable, it just was like, so when we were up in the desert, we'd wake up, we'd have breakfast, we'd be like, hey, how you doing? Let's go. What do you got? Billy go, I got this riff, right? I go, cool, what's the group? What are you feeling? He's like, you know. So I'd go and sit on the kit. Before we knew it, you know, one day we got 3 songs. One day we got 1. One day we got a half. But yeah, so it was great. I love working.
You're one of the coolest people I've gotten to meet in this. So I haven't been gigging very long. I mean, it's really cool to get to meet all these new awesome people. Yeah, thanks for.
Well, I'm a big Jack Barksdale fan. I'm probably the biggest fan. I send your Instagram link to people. Check this kid out. He's the future. I believe in you, man. I got to tell you, I came through Hollywood in the late 70s. You know, I was like 19 years old. I could pick musicians by looking at them. I had like an intuitive sense. Like I could look at a guy and go, that guy can play. And I hadn't even heard one note out of him yet, right? So there was like a sense of an air about a person if they had that confidence of a musician.
Yeah.
And then there was like something like, I remember the first time I saw Kenny Wayne Shepherd, he was like 16 years old. And I go, that guy's going to be, you know. I remember when I saw Tori Amos, who I was in a band with, I saw her at a piano in a piano bar. I said, you star. I just had that sensibility.
Yeah.
And I saw that in you. I said, this kid, he's got it. He's just got that thing. Because in music, there's talent, right? There's talent. You know, obviously you're a cool looking dude. You got a great personality, and you're living it. You're like, I play the guitar. You know, I play slide. I'm a slide player. Right? And that's what it is. For me, it was like the day when I went, I'm a rock drummer. It was like, bing. And it was like,
yeah,
that's what I'm going to do. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you discover what you're going to do and you go, when you discovered, how old were you when you went, hey, I'm pretty good?
I'm not sure that I'm even good now.
Yes, you are.
I just try.
But when people started coming up to you and saying, Jack, I love that. You're great. What happened? What your age was that?
I'm not sure. I've probably been gigging for about 4 years. But once I really started being able to play where I felt that it was better than I had been was probably 1 or 2 years ago.
Yeah, and now you're you know, I see you on stage with all these like adults, right? And you're like, you're up there, and they're like looking at you like, man. So I feel like when you have that acknowledgement, when you actually discover that, for me, I was really young too. I was like, you know, when I was a little kid, I used to go to the school and I bring my snare drum. You remember that song Wipeout?
Yeah.
And I'd sit out there and I would just play Wipeout, like all day.
Uh-huh.
And other kids would come around and go, wow, that's so cool.
Uh-huh.
So for me, it was like I was able to identify that I was good at something and people
Mhm.
liked it.
Mhm.
And that inspires you to keep going. And I was like, plus I didn't want a real job
Mhm.
either.
Yeah.
So
I mean, not many people do. It's just not many people have the choice to become one of the best drummers in the
thanks,
world.
thanks,
Yeah.
man. Well, and when you asked me to do this, I get asked to do a lot of stuff, but I was like, Jack, I'm in. So I'm a big supporter and big fan of yours. And
Thank you.
I know one day you're gonna walk up and get that Grammy. Don't forget to say my name. So
Well, I actually have a question, a little bit about that. Is there anything that you kind of wish someone had told, like a 13-year-old you?
yeah, well, I guess is just remain true to yourself and
Mhm.
always do what feels right. And in this business of music, separating the business from the music is the hardest part.
Mhm.
So have good people around you, remain humble,
Mhm.
always be kind to fans.
Mhm.
Because in my experience, when I was a kid, I mean, I didn't make a lot of mistakes along the way, but I made some.
Mhm. Yeah.
I always loved my fans.
Yeah.
And it's to this day, I've never been, because you get successful and things happen. Money comes, ego comes, things happen. But if you stay close to your family,
Mhm.
right? Really know who your friends are. Because when you get that fame, which you will, things will change because people will want a little piece of you or something.
Mhm.
So just stay close to your family because there was a moment there where I strayed a little bit and especially Guns N' Roses, we were the biggest band in the world.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
be careful with the drinking and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool.
But believe, just keep going, because
Yeah.
look, in life, you're going to get a lot of no's. People are going to say, let's say you go talk to some record company guys. Oh, I don't know. I'm not hearing this. Oh, that's
Mhm.
just an opinion. That doesn't mean you're not good. That's just his opinion. And there's a lot of opinions in the world. So I say, believe in yourself. You're going to hear 100 no's before you hear the right yes. And whatever that yes comes is the perfect yes.
Mhm.
It's all meant to be, right?
Mhm.
Like I remember when I got the Guns N' Roses gig out of the Cult, and I was in the right place at the right time. And before that, before I got big in a band, I was
Mhm.
pretty broke. I was living in a
Mhm.
warehouse. I had a friend that would bring me like top ramen. Have you ever had top ramen? It's like soup with noodles.
I haven't had it.
You pour
Yeah.
water in it, it just kind
Yeah.
of,
I
it's like
I know what
concentrated.
it is. I haven't had it yet.
It's all salt and like fake
Uh-huh.
noodles. And it's
Uh-huh.
like 10 cents, but that's all I could afford.
Uh-huh.
So I remember I got offered gigs with the band Survivor, many, many bands, and I didn't get the audition.
Mhm.
I auditioned for Steve Vai. I didn't get it. And I was starting to get frustrated. I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, starting to get down on myself.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
But what was the reality was God was putting me in the position to be ready for the right one. And
Mhm.
when I got the Cult call for that band, the Cult,
Mhm.
great band, check them out. That was my band. I wasn't supposed to be in Survivor. And so it was all setting the motion for the big gig. And then the
Mhm.
Cult was the gateway to Guns N' Roses.
Mhm. Yeah.
Life happens the way it's supposed to, in my
Mhm.
opinion,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
And that's just intuition, and that comes from. I believe you're probably a spiritual guy, right? You believe in
Mm-hmm.
the universe and
Yes.
God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one door opens, another one shuts.
Mm-hmm.
You go, oh, I'm going to go through that door. And I've navigated my whole life that way. And when I say I'm a grateful, blessed guy, man. I'm just like living a musical journey.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so it just says, just go with your instinct, go with what feels good,
Mm-hmm.
and believe in yourself.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And I really like how you kind of handle your fame and your talent. And you do a lot of charity work, don't you?
Yeah, I got involved kind of by accident. Like people always say, hey, how did you do that? How did you get in the kids' charity that you built? Someone asked me, and it was just the perfect time for me to start to give back. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
was like, you know, I'd done charity things with like different bands. Like we'd have people
Uh-huh.
backstage that were terminally ill, but I had never really jumped into trying to run my own charity per se.
Uh-huh.
So I started Adopt the Arts in Los Angeles to give, and my first big deal that I did is I gave 1,000 guitars away to 25 schools.
Oh wow.
Nylon strings, because little kids, you know, when you're real young,
Yeah.
those steel strings can hurt your fingers,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
So I got nylon strings, 3/4 and half size acoustics, and I got
Mm-hmm.
1,000 of them from Fender,
Wow.
and I handed them out. And you can go online and look it up. But after that, I started my own classrooms where I did
Mm-hmm.
guitar. Now we're teaching K-6, so young kids, much younger than you even.
Mm-hmm.
And we got them on ukuleles now because cool thing about a ukulele, as you know, and you use a lot of open tunings, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can just open up the tuning and a kid can play one note and have like, make a song, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you just tune that A string uh down a whole step and you got a chord.
that's right. So we teach keyboard, ukulele, guitar.
Uh-huh.
I have about 600 kids.
Mm,
And if you want to check it out, it's called adoptthearts.org.
that's awesome.
And we're hoping to expand across the country. We're working
Mm-hmm.
on that right now.
Yeah.
So that's been great. And I do a couple of animal charities. I love dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on the board of Dolphin Project.
That's
Been
pretty cool.
trying to talk people into not swimming with captive dolphins.
Yeah.
And I believe that animals aren't here for our entertainment to do tricks for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's elephants or if it's dolphins, you know,
Yeah.
I don't like circus kind of performance
Yeah.
for wild animals.
Uh-huh.
So I do Dolphin Project, and I'm involved in that,
Mm-hmm.
and I work with a really big organization called Stand Together, which is check out standtogether.org. I'm
Yeah.
involved with that too. So yeah, I mean, I keep busy, you know, it's like I think they say the older you get, the harder you have to work, but I just keep busy.
Yeah. Yeah. And you do a whole bunch of stuff. You have some French bulldogs, right?
Yeah, I got a little new puppy about a year ago. Her name's Ella.
Uh-huh.
And I got her right before the pandemic hit
Mm-hmm.
because I had a little white dog named Lola,
Mm-hmm.
and my she was my girlfriend. I loved her.
Mm-hmm.
She passed about a year and a half ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I cried like a baby.
Yeah.
I cried. I love
Yeah.
that. You guys have a dog?
No, I'm actually kind of allergic to dogs, just really hairy dogs, you know.
Oh,
Like
you might like a
yeah,
little Frenchie because they have real
yeah.
short hair.
Yeah,
Man,
like I can pet dogs, but yeah, I can never really cuddle them too much.
oh, yeah, I took Lola on the road with me. You know, I played in the
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood Vampires with Joe
Mm-hmm.
Perry for a little while, and I took my little dog on the bus.
Uh-huh.
And I cuddle her, you know,
Yeah.
because my wife's at home and she doesn't like going on the road as much. So,
Uh-huh.
But I got another dog, a black Frenchie. They have their own Instagram. It's called Rockstar Frenchies. Check them
That's
out.
awesome.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good. They got like 1,000 followers. Pretty good.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and he's a black Frenchie, and his name's Bowie,
Hmm.
like David Bowie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. How did you come up with is that Ella Fitzgerald or?
yeah, Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
And my grandmother passed away last year. Her name was Ella Josephine.
Ooh, that's pretty.
She was 106 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I named her after Ella Fitzgerald and my grandmother.
That's awesome. I've got one more question for you. You gave us a little bit of advice earlier, but is there anything else that like what to do, what not to do, anything else like that? Because you've been in the music business for a long time and I've been doing some cool stuff.
Well, yeah, thanks. Well, you know that a lot of things have changed since I started out, you know?
Yeah.
We had CDs and vinyl records, and vinyl records are coming back.
I know.
Now, I would say to anybody that's out there, if you're going to put out your music, press some vinyl because people like vinyl.
Yeah.
Make
It's
colored
expensive
vinyl.
though.
It is kind of expensive to do, but if you got like a bit of a fan base,
Mhm.
we did really well with Billy on vinyl because we took it on road and we sold it at the merch booth with the t-shirts.
Yeah.
And he could sign the cover. You know? We did really well with that. And
Yeah.
I say to people, you know, just learn how to, the difference between when I came up and now, it's all about learning how to market yourself.
Yeah.
How to get yourself out there, how to be heard. In the old days, you know, you would create the music and, you know, go get a record deal.
Yeah.
And then they would do all the work, and there was no internet.
Mhm.
You know, there was no internet. There was record stores,
Mhm.
and there was magazines.
Mhm.
So nowadays, it's like, I got to make a video. I got to go on Instagram. I got to do so many things that I didn't know I had to do before. But
Yeah.
you're a younger generation, so you're used to it. For the older guys, we're like, oh my God, we got to like do this and do that. I was telling Billy, I was like, Billy, we got to make like 4 videos for this record. He's like, what? I go, yeah, we just got to just keep putting stuff out. Check out Hollywood 151. We shot that in the summer. It's from the last record, but and I got to be honest. I said to Billy, let's make it cheap. We don't have to spend a lot of money on a video. I mean, you can make a killer video on an iPhone now. I mean, the iPhone 11. Did you see my Tom Petty video I made? Hey, check out I Won't Back Down.
I will.
Check out the video quality. I made it on the iPhone 11.
Really?
And you know what it cost me? 0. Now that's a good video budget. Now, I had a friend of mine edit it and do everything. And I think I might have paid him $100 or something. But so make content because the world is content hungry. They just want to watch cool stuff and listen. And it's like, that's how I discovered you, Jack. I met you and I'm like, got online and I started listening to you play. I was like, this kid's cool. And that's all you need. You just need like another million of me. And then you're off and running. And then you can, so I say to people, young artists, keep writing songs. It's all about the song. It's all about the song. And then find your own voice. I already think that you have a look and a vibe and you know, you're a rootsy kid. You're like, this is what I do. So, like I said, I'm already a fan, so you don't have to win me over. Yeah, just stick to your guns and work hard. You know, it's hard work.
Yeah,
but you know, you got to work. You got to have a work ethic. You got to get up. You go, this is what we're going to do today. Go, bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like 60 years old, and I was on the phone all yesterday working on getting Billy's record mixed. You know, it's not easy. You got to be like, bam, 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 hey, hey, hey. You know, you know, and we talk about, you know, me and Billy. Billy's like, okay, we're going to drop the record. Here's when we're going to drop the record. Then we're going to tour it on this. You know, we got to have a plan,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So make a plan.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's some pretty cool advice. And thanks for doing this with me. It was really
Yeah,
cool to get to talk to you. And even though I haven't gotten to see you that much, it's great to get to speak to you again. And hope I hope we'll finally be able to see each other in person soon, maybe. But
yeah. I got a call from Gretsch yesterday to do a virtual thing for NAM show. No NAM show this year.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, because remember when we were hanging out? So
yeah, yeah. That's a lot of people at NAM.
yeah. Yeah. Call me anytime, Jack. Like I
Yeah,
said, keep rocking, my friend.
yeah. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
And go get some Jack Barksdale merchandise. It's cool. And thank you for the merchandise, Jack.
Yeah, you're welcome. And again, this is Jack Barksdale's Root Revival. Thanks for listening.